Glenn Ray.
Oh, Glenn Hammond and Nikki.
Yeah, I saw her make a comment, "Hello, neighbor," and I thought, "Well, what do you mean, hello, neighbor?" Okay, we're live. I just want to let you know. So what I'm going to do, because we had a false start, I'm going to go in and first of all make sure it's okay, and then second of all, I'm going to share it out a little bit so people see it coming on because they were looking for it. Okay, that's good. Ginny Jones.
Yeah.
Let's see. I can find her. Oh, there she is. All right, Ginny. Oh, yeah, we already got 15 people in the house. Okay. So let me go ahead and share it out a little bit. Whoa. It's working. The sound's working. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hang on one second. We had a false start. The internet went down. We'll be right with you. Let me just put it into the network. Anytime we have technical difficulties before a show, we always have a great show, so I'm not worried about it. This is excellent. Amazing elevations going on right now. I'm seeing it out there. I'm living it. It's incredible to see the expansion with people.
It's amazing, isn't it? It really is. People all over are starting to realize who they are.
It is freaking amazing. And I had something happen to me this morning that I want to talk about because as it came, of course, it made me uncomfortable, which I had to go take into myself, but not before I reacted to this person. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't like the old days. I didn't blow him out of the water or punch him in the face. But it did bring something from infinite intelligence. It did bring something in, and I don't know if I can, but I know it's meant for us to talk about it, you and I.
Yeah.
And specifically because it's you. And don't ask me why, I just know that. All right. So let me just say this. Hello, everybody. If these shows resonate with you, please share. We have been getting suppressed again by Facebook, but it seems like the word of mouth is holding us above water. We got 53 people in the house, so if you would share to your page and maybe one group or just one or the other, if it resonates. So we have a special show today. We had an outage here on the internet, but we're gonna push forth, and we've got a beautiful guest with us from New Zealand by way of England. Yeah. So let me welcome Diane McLaughlin, Angel Divine's here, Paul Castaneda, who just went to Sedona, Mary Cooper is here every single show, every day. Thank you, Mary. Karen Fenstermacher, Harlan Orlando Burr, Jessica Woods. Hope to get you on. Love to have you on. Ricky Hint and Killick, Claire Louise Lynham, Katarina, Pia Holland, Wendy Kirkwood, Valerie Peterman, Susan Curtis, Sonia Tidy, Janine Banrion. She's beautiful. Naveen's here. Maria Williams, Jania Gazda. Let's see. Shanine's in Spain right now. Very beautiful. Maria Potes, Shaz Hargreaves here, Cindy Aldridge. Raquel Trevino, Three Feathers is here. Morgan Skirping from Norway. How do you say that? Good Morgan. Stephen Michael Jones, another Norwegian. Lapis Luna. And everybody else, because there's too many coming in too fast. But thank you all for coming. Hello, Montana. Okay, so now, welcome to Soul Speaks 5D, Soulogy.One Network. We've got Ginny Jones in the house today, and we're really excited about it. Thank you for sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's an absolute pleasure.
Well, I'm glad. It's a pleasure for us to have you here. Donna Campbell from Scotland and Wendy Wu from the UK. So, yeah, I mean, I don't do it as much as I used to, but I used to, always ask people, when did you wake up? I'm not going to ask you.
Well, I'll tell you anyway. Look, I've always been awake.
Yeah.
Yeah, right from a child. I not necessarily seeing much, but sensing, constantly sensing spirit, beings, all sorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people really have the same story. I mean, I'd say 95% of them that have been on the show.
Yeah.
And they say, I always had it. And if you really think about it, we did. And then you go into 3D and you get married and you do all that stuff and you go to sleep and you start eating, you know,
and have like a long nap.
Yeah, a long nap. And then you wake up.
Yeah.
But, there's another wake up just happening now. There's something going on, and it's been going on since probably before some people say 11/11 of last year. Some people say the solstice, definitely by January 1. But man, January had its own characteristic. February had its own, and this month has been absolutely like every day has been like an ascension month to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, my feeling is that we're all getting things still coming up, and it's a bit of a yo-yo. There's 1 minute everything's really good, and you know, you're having a day and everything's wonderful and everything's working out perfectly and synchronicities are happening, and then it could be an hour later or the next day something comes in to give you a bit of a shake up.
Yeah, I get that. You know, I've been doing a lot of shows. When Morgan left, she loaded up the month. I told her at my request just so I could stay busy, because it's for me doing the shows, even though sometimes it's a bit challenging because I deal with the same thing everybody deals with, you know, the energies and such. But I'm able to connect in some type of way. And so I've really held it together pretty good, you know. I got burnt out. I did like 17 days in a row, 3-4 shows a day. So it would have been day before yesterday. I got kind of burnt out by the last couple of shows. And so, you know, I might have projected and acted out a little bit, you know, to Morgan, really. I shouldn't be laughing about that because we've been separated and it's difficult. That in itself is difficult, but it was a very quick deal. I was just like, hey, you know, I can't do this. I got to go, kind of thing. But today, and so yesterday I took a day off, and all day long I just laid around and I just watched movies, and I just ate, and about 3 o'clock I took a nap, and then I woke up about 6, and I was like, man, it's on, game on. So I mean, I was up till 1:30 scheduling and working and messages. I must have gone through over 100 messages. So I felt really good, and I slept 4 hours. Got up at 5:30. Started working again.
Yeah.
And I had put up a post. I think 3 days ago, because I had the most incredible experience I've ever had. And I've had many divine episodes, like so many of us, where I had these 12 dragons come in, different colors, different, and they were all aspects of me. Okay. Let me make that clear to everybody. There was also other divine essences there. I don't know how all that works. You know, I know that we're all one, and, you know, some seem to be external, like Yeshua or Magdalene, but I also know that they're in me. So and I'm not picking on anybody, and I'm not picking on this brother, and I'm not going to say any names, but so I'm going on pretty good. And I get this message from a brother who's been on, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's been in the game a long, long time. And this is where I'm going with this. People like you. And it's not the specifics of the story. It's what I'm trying to get to, which you'll understand in a second. And I want to ask you about.
Okay.
So he says to me, I've had a lot of experience with reptilians, and, you know, they had me kidnapped for a few years, and it took me a long time to get over it. And what you described in your post, you know, which I was led to post in because it was to activate people. He said, "What you were under the influence of reptilians. In other words, like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about." And I said, you know, you know what? You don't know who I am. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my experiences, and you don't know my level of expansion or dimensional existence. you know, because I don't.
Mm.
But I do know I don't need to explain it. And I said, thank you very
Yeah.
much. Have a nice day. Now, my point is this. This is what I wanted to get to for you.
Yeah.
Because I know you're supposed you're supposed to offer something here. I just know this intuitively. So the rules have changed so quickly and so fast. What served us before does not serve us now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you've been in the game for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. I don't care if you're connected directly to Jesus or this galactic or that essence. It doesn't matter. And it's not to diminish that.
Yeah.
Because limitations are limitations, period. Okay. I learned in my journey 3 years ago, you know, night after night, walking through a cemetery to accept every point of light and every point of dark. I made peace and ran into reptilians and this and that. And I was it was a different realm then. They had power over us for some reason. And that's by our own beautiful, infinite, perfect design.
Yeah.
But everything's changed now. And the one thing I fully understand is, and Amanda Lawrence just wrote a post on this. I got a transmission on it. A few other people have. And that is about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no need for boundaries in the 5D plus because there is no infringement. There is no, I'm not going to infringe on your space and you're not going to infringe on mine. So therefore there is none of that. Everything is unconditional and wide open. I talked to a very good friend of mine yesterday from South Australia. And she said, Todd, and she's like many of us, has been elevating the last couple of weeks expansively and rapidly. And she said, I'm no longer afraid. Anything comes around me, I just welcome it and invite it into my heart. And that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. Probably the people that are most challenged are going to be those that have been connected the longest and the strongest, because it's a challenge anyway to the ego. But the rules have changed. Everything's changed. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. I don't know. So I don't know which I know you've been, because you're a practitioner, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, what's your take on all this? What can you offer? What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that in the 5D, like you said, there are no boundaries. There literally are no boundaries. And you know, we're heading towards unity and peace and harmony and all those things. And there's the polarity going on throughout the world at the moment. And all I can say really is, as each individual opens, and I don't really know the answers because, you know, I'm not some guru. I'm just an ordinary person that happens to be living this life in this lifetime. I think my feeling is no judgments. Don't have any judgments. Everybody's on their own journey. Everybody is having their own experience, and their experience might be totally different to what we're having. So really, if we can, and it's hard because the human stuff does come in, but if we can actually have no judgments on other people, and what I've found with myself when it comes to like the darker side of things, perhaps, is that if somebody is totally empowered within themselves and totally in that space of full knowing of, they don't need to know their journey yet because we don't know, but knowing of who they are on such a deep soul level that they're going to be in that flow. That's what I call it, the flow of the universe, the flow of life.
Yeah.
And even though there might be a few hiccups and things present themselves for them to go deeper and perhaps clear out something within, because whenever we react to something, it means there's something going on within us.
Exactly.
That needs to be looked at, really. We don't need to go into the history of it. We just need to acknowledge it, look at it, and think, okay, I realize now why I felt like this, and I'm going to let it go.
Let me give an example, and also equal time, because, you know, I'm not throwing rocks at the brother that triggered me. Well, so that's the first thing I did, right? And we do this on the show strictly to talk about our experience, because I firmly believe this is the highest form of activation soul code exchange that we can have, you know?
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was like, okay, I just sent that message and I'm like, oh man, I drank too much coffee. I'm a little amped up. And I thought, okay, well, what is it in me? So I sat down and I thought, okay, I know that that doesn't resonate. I know that oneness is oneness. And I know that just by putting out that type of comment to me, message to me, was really a fear-based kind of thing that could increase fear, which by my response I may have even contributed to. And then I said, okay, but what is it about you? And then I said, okay, are you really unafraid of anything, Todd? And I was like, do you really know that something can't have power over you? And I was like, you know what? I really don't. But I know this, I have no choice but to believe and to know, and I do know, as much as I can understand it, my human psyche, my human mind, is that I am divinity. And if a 22-foot reptilian comes jumping in this house and says, I'm going to rip your head off, I'm going to say, I'm soul, you know, you can't kill me. Right. And that's the best I can do. So I gained that from it. And then, but to your point, this, anything that makes us uncomfortable, you know, and I think this is common knowledge now, we take into ourselves, because that's the best thing we can do to serve ourselves and serve the collective, is to expand and take in more, if you want to call it, more darkness, more light, whatever, and to expand the spectrum or the bookends of your what you claim.
Yeah.
Because
if anything,
go ahead.
If anything, when we feel like that, it's like the universe is doing us a favor, because we then, as long as we react in the correct way, because then if we go within and go, okay, why did that make me feel like that? What is it? Is it something from my past? Is it my childhood? Is it a past life thing? You know, and you sort of go within and think, okay, because you look at it from a different perspective. And I think that's what is important, if we can all do this. And I know we're human, so we're living the human experience, but by looking at things that unfold in life from a different perspective, from a holistic perspective, we get a better view of what is actually unfolding here. So, you know, because we all get triggered, I get triggered occasionally, and you know, and I'm thinking, oh wow, that really hit here, you know, what's that all about, you know? So I really have to go in and go, okay, what is that all about? And sometimes I actually suss it out that it was a hurt from when I was a little girl, you know, or something like that, inner child stuff. And then I sort of suss it out and I go, okay, I understand that, and I'm going to let it go now, because I don't need it anymore. And I thank it for coming up and presenting itself. Yeah. And I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Yeah. When we're on, and like I said, I'm going to say again, we still are all human. We're living this human experience. But if we can lift ourselves up and have a viewpoint in a holistic way, like we are all one, then we will flow through life a lot easier.
Yeah. And I think part of it too, and I think it's coming down to this, what you were talking about earlier, like, you know, it's like a yo-yo. I think we're on we are, by our own efforts, desire, faith, love, courage, whatever, we're on the universal fast track. And it's not even like it was last year on the fast track, because last year most people came in at the end of the year saying, holy shit, that's it, I can't do this again. Thank God that's over, right? Well, we've had 3 2018s in 2.5 months already. But I forgot what I was going to say. It's that 3D memory thing, right? What were you talking about?
I get that as well, I must say.
It'll come back. But it was on the lines of what you were talking about, in terms of I can't remember now.
Yeah, about things triggering us, and if we can look at it as in a holistic way and raise ourselves up. Yeah,
well, what I was going to say is, you know, we've spent so much time. Well, enough of our focus, maybe not today as much as it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, has been on the external. Oh my God, people
Yeah.
are, and this is, you know, I'm not making light of this, but, you know, people and this over here aren't eating. There's war over here. There's pedophilia. There's this and that. It seems to me now, the more of us are working inside, internal to external, the more external that's being exposed, and it's coming rapidly. And so I just fall to this place, and I say, okay, wait a minute. We are the architects. We're divine. We built this realm some way or another. It doesn't matter if it was fallen angels or interference by reptilians or whatever. It doesn't matter anymore, because
that's right.
they either have power over us, they don't, and I say they don't. So the bottom line is anything out here, as ugly and horrific as it may look, not only is it not what it seems, but it's in every bit of it's inside of me.
Yeah.
Every bit of pedophilia is inside of me. There is nothing out there that is not inside of me. I am the universe. And that's oneness. And, you know, I don't want to say unfortunately, but we want to say oneness is, hey, we all love each other, fluffy love and light. But no, it's everything. It's everything, because we can't see from the human eyes. We can't see the whole yin yang. We can't see both sides of the veil 100% with 100% clarity. If we could, we would understand that some of these horrific things and people and such that we might think we're not like, or might think that's not part of us.
Yeah.
You know, we would see that it all makes perfect sense in a perfect order.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you think of it another way, all this stuff that's going on around the world and out there is all fear-based stuff, most of it.
Yeah.
And that is one major big distraction from people actually looking within and waking up or doing the inner work.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there a plan out there to stop people waking up? I mean, you know, there's so many different scenarios you can look at. But the more we go within, the more, and this is why I like, when mindfulness came out, I was going, yes, thank goodness. It's making people actually be aware of how they're behaving, what they're doing, you know, and all that stuff. So that was like a new movement, which really helped people then start going within. And of course, it's developed from there, because people are now thinking, okay, well, I've got this coming up from childhood or whatever, and the younger generation have got it. I might need to go and get help to get this cleared up. So they might be seeking a psychologist or whoever to help, or even a healer or whoever, coach to help. But it means that they're focusing on going within and actually clearing out the stuff. And the more that everybody does that, the better. And because these outside things are big distractions from that.
Yes.
So if everybody gets to realize that actually what this is going on out here is just a big distraction from the important thing of going within, and the more that people go within on a collective level, those outward things are going to slowly stop. Yeah. Very slowly.
Yeah.
Because people have done the work, and we're going to create a world, a planet, which will eventually be in harmony.
Yeah. You know, yeah. I mean, I think about this NLP type of exercise that I did 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the studio, and I remember that I went above the timelines, and I went to the past. Yeah. And then I land, the exercise, we land where you see some type of crack or trauma or something. So I did. And it was like, excuse me, it was like, I don't want to say like King Arthur era. It was like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what years that was, or century. So I planted myself in there, and I was following the exercise, and I started walking down the linear path. And I was told, now what I was told actually came from, I would have to say, my higher self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it said, whatever you see, keep walking.
Okay.
In other words, it's not real. Okay. So I'm walking down this linear path and I see what I assumed, felt like in that incarnation was my beloved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see my best friend and I see them having, a relationship or being in love, whatever. And and so the point of that exercise, I guess, was to clear that.
Yeah.
But I kind of look at it like we're headed the same way. Like it's an all or nothing proposition. So if we give one iota of our attention over to this false flag or over to this and start saying, okay, was that real? Wasn't it real? And get into debates and this and that, we're actually still there.
Yeah,
we're
we are.
Not, yeah. So I look at it kind of like that NLP exercise where I looked over, I saw them, I saw a lot of warfare, a lot of blood, a lot of just brutal stuff going on, and I just kept walking and I just kept walking. And I was being told that's not real. That wasn't real. That was an illusion. And it's embedded in your psyche as if it was real. So I kind of think that maybe that's where we're headed. It's an all or nothing proposition.
Yeah.
So there can't be, you can't be 99.9%, jumping into the higher dimensions of the new earth or however you want to formulate or name that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, you know. It's so easy to slip back into that outward stuff, but it's again, I think it's about being fully aware of yourself, mindful actually, at all times, if possible, because it's so easy to get sucked back into the drama of what's going on around.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, even I struggle with it at times, especially with what's just happened in New Zealand here, because it's like all over the news and everything. And I have to keep reminding myself and focusing on sending healing and good vibes and love and all that stuff to that situation through all timelines, because it's not just this timeline that's been affected when something like that does unfold. It's actually all through.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
And when we expand ourselves, it's yeah,
absolutely. So I have to keep reminding myself to just keep focusing and sending really good vibes there, because the way I see it in my being is, and I don't fully understand it, but it's not just this dimension or this timeline. When something like that unfolds, it affects everything, because we're all connected. It affects everything through past generations, through future generations. And the more that we can try and step out of the drama of what's unfolded and send good vibes, healing, it's not even actual healing, it's just a blanket. I want to say a blanket of truth and wisdom and knowledge and everything else through it to try and level it out a bit, so to help as much as possible with to keep things smooth, if you understand. I mean, I'm seeing it in my mind, but it's really hard for me to put it into words.
Yeah. So much of what we are is, but it's like too, we're in this transition. So we're I'm a big believer too, that the verbalization and just discussing it, I don't know everything, such and such, let's just talk about it, what's your experience? And these are the things that create the expansion and open and activate. But so if I look at what you're saying too, and I have to say to myself, because I've been in this situation, even with that event, is I can send this blanket out and I can still have it unresolved in myself.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 or 3 or 4 things that really piss me off about this whole, disclosure, even though they said there's not been disclosure, but things that have happened are happening.
Yeah.
But I know the best thing I can do is I can clear this in myself.
Yes.
And like you said, it's not that easy. And it might, in what you clear today, might create something that needs to be cleared tomorrow because you didn't even have the awareness to know that it was there the day before.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
so by doing that, it sends like this pulse out 360 degrees in every way, like an orb sends the pulse out, like you said, not just to this realm, but to all dimensions. So, you know, it's taken us down. It's not even a rabbit hole. It's like an elephant hole.
Yeah.
It's taken us down. It's taken us down, and it's requiring that each and every day we take it further and further. And the universe is I think it's our own choice, but faster and faster, quicker and quicker, because we all want to get to the promised land vibration, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the more that each individual, each one of us can be their sovereign self, stand in their own wisdom and their own knowing without taking on all this outside stuff, you know, we're affecting, just our energy field is affecting the people that we're with, that, you know, in our everyday lives. Even if walking into a shopping mall, your energy field and what you're thinking, feeling and everything else is affecting absolutely everything. So the more that we can keep in that good space within, sort out our own stuff, and just really resonate that open-heartedness, then we are going to be affecting. Again, I want to go. It's like you said. I call it like a nuclear love bomb, right?
Yeah.
So if you can imagine a mushroom cloud, but it's a love bomb. So I mean, I do it even when I walk into a shopping mall. If I feel, because I feel energy a lot, if I feel that the energy's down, I will walk into a shopping mall and go, right, okay. So I just fully engage myself, expand my heart out, and with intention, I go that every one of these people that are in this mall are going to receive something that is going to help them. Yeah.
That's and that can't be underestimated.
No, it's powerful.
That conscious intention, that's what you're talking about, mindfulness. I mean, that conscious intention is more powerful than, you know, I mean, it really is. And this is the crazy thing. You know, I remember years ago getting the down, or whatever you call it, the message that everybody's pain is equal.
Yes.
It's just proportionate to their life experience. But everybody's pain is equal. Everybody's love is equal. Everything is equal. And so nothing is more horrible. And I know it, because there is no in between. It's all or nothing. So it could be a family drama. It could be us doing something for someone else at the, compromising ourselves. Yeah. Even if it's like a little issue, well, it's just a little issue. I'm gonna do this because I'm an empath and I'm gonna do it and I can take the pain. We're not here to take pain. No. We're not here to suffer anymore. And that's the crazy thing, because it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
It's all. I've seen it happen with my kids. And I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
You know? And I can't be concerned about what if they don't love me, and I can't. I've got to do what I'm doing and believe in this, that I am divine. I know I am. I'm gonna stop saying believing, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like an all or nothing thing. And it's so crazy because on the extreme sensationalistic levels, it looks really cut and dry.
Yeah.
But on the itty bitty things, it's no different. It's no different. You know, it really isn't. And the last thing I want to say is I got this simple message this morning when I was walking. It said, if you're uncomfortable, get comfortable. And I said, what? They said, the message is, if you're uncomfortable anywhere in the spectrum and any aspect of your life, get comfortable. And then I got it. And I thought, oh, like no compromise.
Yeah.
You're not shortening anybody or cheating anybody else. It's about you.
It is about you.
Yeah. So if you have this comfortableness, you have this peace, it's going to be that that nuclear love bomb. I call them soulgasms. It's going to be that soulgasm from all of your chakras shooting out all different directions, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do that as much as I can. If I'm going to a place and I can feel that the vibes are down, and even it's a slightly different subject, but even it's still clearing timelines though, and still clearing other dimensions, because I do a lot of that sort of work. Even if I'm going on holiday somewhere, I will end up doing some form of clearing, and I will clear lost souls over. And you know, I even remember I went to the prison that was in Tasmania a couple of years ago, and there was just souls everywhere. And I actually, because I went in there to have a look around, and then I did some clearing, and then I went away because they were about to close, and I thought, I've got to come back again because I haven't finished. So the next day I actually came back again, paid to go back in, and then did another mass clearing, and it was so many different timelines of different generations, you know, that was stuck there. So wherever I go, I am aware, or try and be aware, of the energy of the place and what I'm picking up. And sometimes, you know, consciously on a human level, I don't pick it up, but I feel it in my body or something. Or I'll get the nudge from my higher self, you know, there's some work needing to be done here or whatever. And it might be for the living that are here in the physical. Yeah. Or it might be through some other dimension. I mean, even when you talked about reptilians earlier, I've had people come to me that have had reptilian attachments. And what I found is, if you don't show any fear, they are disempowered big time.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
They absolutely are. They absolutely are. But everything's limitless. And so you might, you know, I mean, that's like what happened today when I said, well, are you really sure that nothing can have power over you? And I was like, I'm sure I've got to go with that. But it was still made me wobble a little bit. But, you know.
But that's the normal human stuff coming in, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. And so, I mean, it's you know, it's like, I remember when I got here to Kauai in late October, and where I was rented a room, I walked down to the beach like 5 minutes away, and there was a very private lagoon. Yeah. And I've told this story before, and I'm sitting on this log on the beach right next to this forest, I guess that's what you call it, and I see this cave. And I'm looking through the brush, and I'm going, what the hell is that? And I'm seeing colors and waves and fairies and just beautiful, lots of different stuff, right? But I'm looking at it, and I'm going, am I seeing this, you know? So I couldn't walk through the brush I'll tell you why I couldn't do it, because I was not, because I said, I'll do that tomorrow. I can't do it today. This is too much. Yeah. Well, when I looked on what looked to be the wall of the cave, and it was speaking to me too, it said, this is a universal portal. Anything and everything is here. And I said, okay, I'm here. And they're like, well, you want to come in? I'm like, no, I'll wait till tomorrow. But there looked to be a reptilian at the back of the cave. And it really posed a question. The universal portal posed a question and said, what are you going to do? And I sat there for a little bit, and I just said, I put my arms out, and I said, I invite you into my heart. And that was it. Yeah. Well, and then 2 or 3 days later, I went back, and the cave didn't exist. So I know it. Wow. Here we go again, right? Here we go again. This is how the universe works. Yes, absolutely. And I was stone sober, you know, a little fatigued, but so that's how it works. I mean, it's all or nothing. Yes. I want to make sure that we talk about you. You've got a website. You're a practitioner. Yeah. Why don't you tell us what you do? Okay. I am a healer, but I also do intuitive readings. And going back to how things have changed, I will also say with my intuitive readings, I do use the tarot cards. But what I found now is that I have to sometimes, unless I get a real strong feeling about something in particular, but I have to actually say that this is only one
aspect of a possibility of your journey, because we cannot predict now the future, because everything is so all over the place.
It is what it is today, right?
That's right. Yeah,
it is what it is today. Yeah.
It is, and people are creating their own futures because of you know, their own feelings, emotions, and everything else. So yes, I do intuitive readings. I also can do mediumship readings where I connect with past loved ones, which is that's very moving for me when I actually do that for someone. I do spiritual and cosmic activations because I've had a lot of ET contact, and I'll tell you if we've got time. I'll tell you briefly.
We got time. We started late, and okay. We've got, I think, 2 hours before the next show. I usually take a little 30-minute lay down, but we've got plenty of time. Don't forget to come back to, I don't know if that's where you're going right now, but I want to jump into the galactic part for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've been doing this work in a healing practice when I lived in Auckland, and I'd been doing this work actually for several years, but anyway, this particular night I was round a friend's house having dinner, and I often get visits from spirit, so that's nothing new to me. But anyway, the lights in the house started flickering like crazy, so I thought, oh, and I felt the atmosphere change. I thought, oh, there's something going on here. Spirits coming in for some reason. The people I was with do not believe in any of this stuff, so I had to be very aware of not making them feel awkward, or not making them think that I'm a nutter.
I'm sure they already thought that.
Yes.
We're all nutters, every one of us.
Right. So what happened was the lights were going crazy, and I thought, I've got to check the other rooms out in the house. So I just said, oh, I'm going to the bathroom. So I went down the hallway. The hall lights were going nuts. The bathroom lights were going nuts. So I came back and sat down. And behind my friends, there was a ramp slider, so a glass door, which the curtains were open, and it was a summer evening, and I was looking through. And just for about 10 seconds, I saw this little grey being staring at me, a very small grey being. I've drawn them, actually, which if you want, I can send you the pictures of, because I normally draw whatever experience I have. Yeah. So this being was staring at me, and I just knew from that moment on. I had no fear. I didn't feel frightened at all, but I just knew from that moment on I was being observed, and that put a question in my mind. Why? You know. So anyway, I always ask for confirmations about something happened, because you do question yourself when something's happened. So what I did was, about a week later, I saw my friend, and I said to her, oh, by the way, did your bulb go? Because she just thought her bulb was on its way out. And she went, oh, no, actually, the lights are fine. So that was my confirmation that what happened, I did see that being, yeah. So about 3 to 4 months afterwards, I was in my healing practice working on clients, and this, what appeared to be like a hologram form of another small being, but a bit taller, that had like a uniform on. And I could see exactly what the material looked like and everything. But I know I was seeing her with my third eye. So she was showing me herself telepathically. Anyway, she started teaching me things about what to do on whoever I was working on at the time, and showing me all these different techniques, and showing me the energy field of the body, also saying about how important sound is. So using my voice, also keeping the frequency right up and stuff like that. It was amazing. So she stayed with me roughly for about 3 months, I think. Teaching me every single time I was working. She'd come in and teach me. So that's where the spiritual and cosmic activations came from. Things that she taught me, and then things that, creative ideas that had come through myself as well. So yeah, my healing went from, because I'm a Reiki master healer or master teacher, and it went from doing things which are in a box, I'm going to put, now to no boxes, no rules. The only rules I have about everything is that everything is done within love and integrity and all that stuff. But I now go with complete guidance when I'm working. So when I'm working, when I'm healing,
it's that spontaneous, intuitive, creative, courageous, imaginative, innocent, pure vibration, you know.
It is. And you've got that direct connection then to the knowledge that you need to pull down for that person.
Yeah, I think the other thing that's interesting too is, and I've talked about this over the last couple of weeks. I won't go into the whole story, but Morgan and I had like 3 occurrences with the short gray, you know.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to bring up is that when I asked, you know, what are you doing here? I was told I'm assisting you, which is what was happening with you. And I was also told that we're observing you. And I said, why? And he said, because you guys have the ability to you know, flow your emotions into your creativity, basically. The creation, you know, new levels of creation or expanded levels of creation. And that, you know, that's one of our that's what we're bringing to the table in the universal family.
Absolutely. And going on to the creativity thing, it's so important for children to be creative. I mean, I know in a lot of schools they're actually stopping things like art and pottery and you know, whatever else. But actually, it's so important for children to be creative all through their childhood, and then they keep that flow into adulthood. And the creative mind is literally a channel to the universal mind.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Yeah. And without that,
you know, I see it in you know, since I've been doing this, part of it is artistically inclined, right? Creatively inclined. First poetry and then music with words or rap. I call it soul speak. But that's a perfect example. The perfect example. It's not the structuring and let's practice and make this perfect. I mean, there is some element of high level creativity and expansion there, but the spontaneous, improvisational, in the moment, no fear, past the point of embarrassment, just letting it all go is probably one of the most powerful physical things I observe, not within myself and within other people.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's how inventions are made. You know, people stepping outside of the box and actually taking things forward. And you know, if you look at the old masters, the old masters that were painters and all that, a lot of their stuff back then is now actually worth a lot of money. But also the inventors and scientists back then, we're all now like tapping into what they used to say back then, because it's they were right, you know. But in their time, nobody believed them, of course. It's like they were ahead of their time.
Or they get refined, you know. They get. That's what we were talking about on the show the other day. It's like music, you know. You get an old jazz or blues, you know, composition, and then some new DJ comes out, and he threads it into this electronic sound, and it becomes this whole, you know, this whole expansion of what was. And that's, I think, another part of what we're doing.
It is amazing. And
now, have you had now when you connect, and I say this because, you know, I just observed somebody I've known. I don't know him personally, but seen him around since I've been off the street, so a good 5-6 years. Sometimes it seems to me, and I didn't have any galactic experiences for my first 3 or 4 years of awakening, but they think it's the devil. They think it's a demon. They think this, but most of the people that I talk to, like you, they deal with the faces of the universe that are angelic or divine essences and galactic. You know, like to me, it's all one and the same thing, maybe different levels or something like that. I don't know. But do you have a connection to certain energies or certain faces of the universe?
I do. I believe I do. Yes. Many, actually. Absolutely many. Probably too many to mention, because even when I'm working, I call in absolutely everybody. So again, we are everybody, and everybody is us. So you don't have to. When it comes to connecting in for my work, I do connect with everyone, but I have had like experience where I've literally seen things out here, like that being that was staring at me in the window. I've also recently, over the last sort of couple of years, had experience with multidimensional nature beings. And if you like, I've drawn them as well, because I can send you the picture that I've drawn.
Love to see that. I'd love to see
I will.
We'll put them up one by one on the screen. We can put them on the screen.
Okay, cool.
Now you're talking about are you talking about elementals? Are you talking about multi-dimensional elementals? Although that might be the same thing.
I'm talking about, I can't tell you whether they're elementals, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. If you was to see them, you would think they might be extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
So they are, my feeling, they are nature beings that are here. They live in the forest, and they are multidimensional. They can materialize and dematerialize. They, you know, they're advanced.
Like the elders, like Sasquatch. Like the Sasquatch.
They don't even look like anything like that. They actually look like the small prey beings.
Oh, okay. I just meant in terms of being able to, that they were interdimensional. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yes, they're definitely multidimensional. And I have actually had telepathic communication with them. We go into our forest here, and we try and connect with them on a regular basis. I know that they are here to look after nature. That's one thing I do know. They are here. They are in the forest. They're in there. They're looking after the animals. They can also interact with birds. They can like here, for instance, the morpork, which is or the ruru, which is an owl. They can, my feeling is, take their consciousness into the owl's consciousness, blend with the owl's consciousness, and then help the owl to communicate with you, if you like. So they can interact with all aspects of nature, whether it's plants, like you might walk into a forest, say, and there's no wind whatsoever, and you're actually seeing a branch doing this. Now, you know, that's a sign. Yeah. I walk into the forest and I can send you these as well. I see, and it looks like twigs have been placed in a certain angular position that either form a letter or form it's almost like, sometimes it looks a bit like light language, but it forms a message. And I know that they're telling me that this is the right path.
Yeah.
And also, if you come across glowworms, that's another space, and certain trees as well. But anyway, these beings, I actually heard them walk heavy footsteps as if a human was walking down in front of me in the pitch black. This was, because it was in the bush in the black. So I couldn't see them. But I actually heard, and they came down, one came down and stood in front of us.
Did you see it?
Couldn't see it. But what I did was, I couldn't see it with these eyeballs, but I did was I tuned in with my third eye, and that's when I saw them.
Yeah.
And there was a sea of faces. There was a sea of them all in the bush, but they had a guardian with them that was taller. I've actually drawn the guardian as well, which was taller, very powerful presence, energy with him. And he was just guarding and making sure these little ones were safe. But as soon as
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. As soon as he realized that we came with total open heart, no fear, and wanted to interact with them, he almost like stepped aside, and then I could see this sea of faces of all these little beings.
Yeah.
And they are looking after nature.
Yeah, I've never heard that. Now, I have been aware of nature beings, and I don't think I would use that term, but I never really, but I remember now that you're telling me this is why I love this show, because it activates the memory, the soul memory.
Yeah.
And I remember right when I started getting on my feet and I was working in a restaurant, I would have to walk home every night past this like big lot that was in the city that was like the last forest. Like there wasn't, it couldn't have been more than 3 blocks, this way and 3 blocks that way. And I would always stop and I would get on my knees, and there was about 6 trees there, and I would talk to the trees, right?
Yeah.
And so one night, I was really connected with them, and all of a sudden I start seeing all these eyes, right? And they're probably like, I don't know meters, but I mean, they're probably like 30 feet away from me. So like 6 of my body lengths, 5, 6 of my body. And all of a sudden I see all these eyes, and then I see a couple of deer step out.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
then a few more step out. And I knew, and I thought, oh my God. I mean, I didn't understand it, but I knew there was some type of collective thing going on there that was not controlling, but they were all of the same mind. They saw my light.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It's lovely, and people don't realize, like, sometimes you can walk past a forest, and if you tune into it, you can feel that there is a sea of eyes watching you. Yeah. But it's not in a menacing way or anything like that. It's in an inquisitive way. It's like, they're watching you because they're interested in seeing what you're doing and stuff like that. Yeah. And like you said, they can see your light, and they can
definitely. And that seems to be with animals, everything seems to be more connected, and it would only make sense. I mean, if we're moving this fast, it's like I don't know. It's like you said about the signs and everything. I mean, I walked out last night after working for a few hours, and everything was like you said. And when you said that about the branch, one branch is moving. Yeah, I've seen that a lot, but lately I've seen it a lot more. Yeah, like it's literally like sending me some kind of code or something.
It is. It's like they're saying, we're here, we just want you to open your eyes and see us, and stuff like that. Yeah. This is an experience that happened here a while ago. We've got quite a big area of forest, or as we call it here, bush. And I had a group here, and I took them down into the bush, and we did a bush bath. That's what I call them, a bush bath. So I take somebody through a meditation. They're all lying down on the floor. They might have a blanket, or they're lying down literally on the leaves or on the ground underneath the canopy of trees. And I just take people through meditation, whatever comes at the time, because we're going back to the creative mind, whatever is needed for that group. So I just allow it to flow. And I didn't know any of this until afterwards when we all talked. But our cat always follows us everywhere. And I believe cats are like your spiritual protectors. Anyway, he was following me, and he was sat right next to me. And I'm talking everyone through it. And there's probably a group of about 14 or 15 people all lying down in the bush there. And they've all got their eyes shut. And I'm taking them through this group. And afterwards, anyway, when we were all talking, 2 people felt like they received healing from the bush. Yeah. Several people heard footsteps around their head, including my husband, who also heard footsteps around his head. He thought the cat was walking around them. But the cat wasn't. The cat was with me the whole time. Another person had an experience. Initially he thought I was stood behind him. And then he realized it wasn't. And he had this beautiful feminine being appear to him. Wow. So yeah, everyone, it's like, you know, for whoever needed what in that group, they received whatever it was that they needed from that beautiful energy of nature and those beings that are there. And then after,
go ahead.
sorry,
go ahead.
just after that, we actually heard, because I did a lot of toning and light language when I took people through the meditation. Just after that, when we were stood there in the bush, we actually heard a woman's voice toning back through the forest. It was amazing.
God, you're freaking me out. So I had a question, and then when you said that, I just had this this thing that happened last night. Well, 2 nights ago, I had this. Well, it was actually 3 mornings ago, 5:15 in the morning. I had this thing happen to me, and I wrote about it. That's what I talked about at the top of the show. And so I think it was it? I guess it was 2. So last night would have been the first night after, and I was pretty tired. You know, it was about 2 in the morning, and I lay down, and I'm in the same position, and I can, you know, I can feel it, sense it, see a little bit. You know, it's filling up, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this tonight. I don't know if I want to do this tonight. I know I can have the right to say not tonight, right?
Yeah.
But then, because one of the things that happened to me when that occurred, for about 15 minutes, I started doing this sacred chant or sacred song.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
It was somewhat of a primordial, native, you know, type, indigenous type voice. And so anyway, instead of trying to tell them anything, because that's how it worked the other night, they asked me, what do you want? And I just started doing this thing.
Yeah.
And I knew what I needed, or whatever they were asking me was being conveyed through the song, right?
Yeah.
So last night I started to do that. I started to do it, not quite as loud, and I just started doing it. And I heard about 3 or 4 times, I heard the come back, right?
Yeah.
I heard it wasn't an echo, and it wasn't the same tonality, and I could hear it coming back. And I thought, but I was tired, and I thought, what is that? What is that? Is that a refrigerator? Is it, you know? But it wasn't. Yeah, this is why I love this show. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, every experience I really truly feel is so magical, and we're so blessed to have these experiences. And you know, I wish everyone would have these experiences, but not feel any fear. And of course, that's why a lot of people don't have them, because they would automatically go into fear. And these beings that communicate.
There's those boundaries. When we started the show, there's the boundaries. I mean, we can get lost in semantics. So we can say a lot of different words that mean the same thing. But that's what I was going to say before you freaked me out. I was going to say it's amazing that what we started the show with and what we were talking about, but it's amazing that when you walk into any situation, anywhere, anytime, any place, with that open receptivity, you know, and what is really a full, unencumbered, you know, unobstructed faith.
Yeah.
You know, it's an absolute surrender to the embrace. It's amazing the things that you can experience.
Absolutely.
Now that you mentioned what you mentioned, and you can do whatever you want to do, but you mentioned light language and toning.
Yes.
Are you open to doing some of that now?
I can. It's quite loud, so I don't want to deafen anyone.
It's okay. It's okay. How long have you been doing light language and toning?
Oh, several years now. And I actually, going back to what I actually do, I do light language transmissions. And I also do, whenever I do a healing now, I actually do toning to someone. So I actually, if people don't realize what I do, I actually say to someone now, I will be using sound. And by the way, don't get freaked out if I start singing to you. Because if I didn't say that, they'd probably think, what's she doing? But the tones of the voice, and I know, and I used to call it cell singing, because I know that the resonance goes right into the cells of the body and does something. I'm not in control of what it does, but I know it's doing something good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You are, but maybe you're not conscious of the specifics. But yeah,
I'm not, and I know I just go with what I'm guided to do, and I know it's all good, and I really truly know that. But I also do the light language, the toning, but I also do light coded tattoo designs for people.
Oh wow!
And this is how I have to do these. I actually do them while I'm watching the TV, and I'll tell you why. Because I have to have my mind distracted by something else. So what is coming through for that certain person is coming from my higher self or from the universal mind or whatever for that person when I'm doing a design for them. And I used to do guide portraits as well. And even when I did that, I had to have like something else going on that I was kind of mentally focusing on. So whatever was coming through was not being, had no influence from my mind. It was literally coming from my heart and from my higher self for that person. Right. So I do those as well. In fact, I'm in the process of getting a collection together of designs that I've brought through myself to make a set of light coded cards, because I do know that they activate people. Yeah. Consciously, I don't know in what way, but I do know they definitely activate people.
That's a good idea. It'd be like you remember those mathematic flashcards they used to have?
Yes.
And this would be like a fast track flashcard.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yes, I can do some toning and light language for you if you like. I'm going to stand up because I just feel the energy runs better. Yeah. So just bear with me. And it's quite loud. I'm in a small room. Okay. Iramaya tiranoia tiakiti. Iro toye paranai. Ura marianai tikiti. Ushana tikiranai. Ura marianari yaro. Uruturi pete akinari. Uranai apate. Io tore nai. Ura more tiakaterati, ujena paterani, ira kateanuria pai, urana irana, ira iataroa, urana ina.
Wow, that was sweet. That was really sweet. Was there a specific something in there? Is it?
I actually don't know. I just literally I'm going with whatever comes through at the time. Yeah, I'm sure it'll.
That's what I was getting with what I was getting at when I was talking about like when I was doing the sacred song, is I didn't think about specific words. I just knew that what I was putting out, the vibration of it was explaining it myself.
Yes. and it comes from here. It literally comes from the soul, really, the heart and the soul of your being. I believe everyone should when they can, when they've got the time, whether it's in the car or whatever, just do the same. Allow that expression to come out of creativity that comes from the soul. And what I've found is that when I've been doing a healing session and I've sung and I've done the what I call light language, it's actually soul language. I've had many different people say many different things, like people saying, I felt fully encompassed in love when you were singing or saying that. I felt it in my body started vibrating, you know. I don't understand what you were saying, but I recognize it, you know, and stuff like that. And it's from a soul thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So how do people get in touch with you? I think I put the website on the post.
Okay, thank you.
Can you let us know how can we get in touch?
Okay, on my website, it's www.ginnyjoneshealing.com. My email address, if anyone would like to email me, is ginnyspiritualart@gmail.com. And yeah, there's many things on my website. Please take a look through. You can see all my designs that I've done. You can see exactly what I do. I do house clearings and energy rebalances and all sorts of stuff. There's so much on there. I think I need to redo my website actually and make it a lot more simpler so people don't have too much to look at. But yeah, please go to there because all my contact details are on my website.
Okay, and so maybe well, it's in the body of the post, and then any links that you want to provide for people, you can put it in the comments. I'd love to have you back on, like maybe next month, and get a bunch of these pictures and go through it that way. And
that'd be really awesome because I've got lots of pictures of beings that I've drawn. Yeah,
I think that would be really cool. So let's plan on doing that, and I'll reach out to you in probably in the next day or two, and we'll set something up for maybe the middle part of April.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. Many blessings.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that light language and toning with us too, and everything. It was a great conversation. I look forward to collaborating with you again.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.